Oh, I feel like a grandma. Let me take this off. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to this little series on economics and management application to Oxford University. Today I am here with a personal statement video, which is a little bit overdue. I'm really sorry, but I'm here. And then just before the interview shenanigans in like December, I'll do another video for that. I'm going to be talking about how to write a good personal statement ultimately. So I've written a few things down, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, number one, if you haven't even started writing it yet, or if you've just written a draft or something, the main thing I'd say is to read as much as possible. Read far and wide. If you don't know what you want to write, or if you don't know still what your structure or topic is, read a lot. Read books, read articles, Financial Times, The Economist. And when I say read books, I don't necessarily mean read a whole book. You can read chapters as well. The main thing is to be inspired by things that you read, because that's the main way you can think of a topic, you can progress your thoughts, you can write something interesting and engaging. You can't BS a personal statement. Quite simply, you cannot conjure up an economic argument without having at least some information about the topic that you're interested in. World of books, Abe books. Go to your library, go to the local library, go to your school library, request books from school. If you can do that, you haven't got an excuse, especially if you live in the UK. Number two, I'm sure you've heard this pretty much everywhere, but a personal statement is personal, so keep it personal. I leveraged on my background and my general interests, and that's how I wrote my personal statement. I introduced my personal statement with, I think, something along the lines of, as a British Nigerian girl who has an interest in learning languages. Like, I literally spelt out my individuality on the first line, because I just thought it was really important for them to know what the topic of my personal statement will be, but then also to kind of identify with me if they can, or just know that I'm not just writing an essay for the sake of writing an essay, but more so I'm conveying a character that I am. So like, learning languages and culture is something that I'm really interested in personally, so I incorporated that into my personal statement in an economics context, right? So don't necessarily feel like you have to follow the stereotypical route for econ personal statements by going very, very financy. Like, if you do love it, great. If you don't, it's not necessary to base your personal statement on the financial world. Be relatable, because these people are very much human. I realized that in my interview, just how human they were. They were just really normal people. Number three, a lot of people ask this regarding econ and management or other dual honours courses. How should I split my personal statement according to economics and management? So I'm gonna leave some stats, some statistics on the distribution of things in my personal statement. Whew, I'm out of breath, I just ran up the stairs. My personal statement was literally mostly just economics. So I wrote 620 words, I think, yeah. 53 words were on management, 109 were about myself from a non-academic lens, more like extracurriculars, and 458 of the 620 words were directly solely about economics. 620 words, and only 53 of them were about management. I did a whole paragraph, very many paragraph, on this management book I read and how that related it to my overall theme, which was culture. I kind of just included management and made it compatible with the rest of my essays. It wasn't like random, it wasn't a random management topic. It really did, I think, blend quite well. So don't go ham on the management part, because Oxford A do not expect you to know lots about something that you have not studied at all in your life. And B, they expect that most people who apply for E and M tend to apply for straight econ at other universities. Number three, make sense and convey a story. For me, I actually really enjoy creative writing and writing emails and stuff. I'm very like a writey person. You couldn't tell by how bad my English is, right? But yeah, I really enjoy writing. And I think that really helped, because you want to make your personal statement make sense, you know, make it make sense, because ultimately they're gonna have to read it, and whatever they get from it is what they get from you, right? They can't really delve into your mind and understand what you intended the personal statement to sound like. So make it flow. So like I said, the topic of my PS was very much based on how culture influences economic outcomes. So this idea of culture and economics really played a very key role from the start to the end of my personal statement. Make your personal statement cohesive and engaging. For example, don't discuss your passion for global trade and then Bitcoin and then your love for inflation and then your internship at the Bank of America. Like, it's a lot. And there are lots of topics in economics that you can really get into, but obviously you've got one personal statement. Don't water it down by going into lots of different fields that you like. Do try to focus on like one thing. And along the lines of not making your writing confusing, don't feel the need to use really big words, because that can make things just really hard to read and a little bit pretentious to read, can't lie. Yeah, it just kind of ruins the flow when you have lots of big words that didn't really need to be put there. They're not really testing your vocab, they're trying to see what you're passionate about. Okay, number 4 is structure. So I'd say start with what led you to be interested in economics. Introduce the crux of your interest. I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but introduce the main topic that you're going to be talking about. I'd say do that in your first paragraph, and then second paragraph-ish. How many paragraphs did I use? Okay, so I had 6 paragraphs, and then second to third paragraph for me were about books that I've read, supercurriculars that I've done, whether essays, etc., and how that supported my interest. And then my 5th one delved into a little bit about management and how it kind of linked with like the rest of my paragraphs basically. My last and final paragraph was talking about me more personally, aside from academics, and what I'm interested in. But obviously it's not just about listing what you're good at and what you're interested in apart from academics. Like, it is ultimately about linking that back to why you'd be a good suit for the university and for your course. Just to reiterate, link it to showing how you'd contribute to a wider uni life and how the skills that you learned from, let's say, your sport or your music would help you on your course. For example, I said I like learning languages and this helps me to value and see others' viewpoints. I'm just paraphrasing. And this is something that obviously I'd carry on into tutorials, listening and learning from my peers and tutors' viewpoints. That sounds a bit wishy-washy, but you get what I mean. You basically state what else you do and try and link that back to how that would contribute towards your course in a positive way. Number 5, kind of along the structure thing, but more specifically, don't list stuff. You've probably heard it before, but don't list stuff. I've read a few personal statements where people just kind of list every book they've read since they were 3 years old, every work experience they've done. But realistically, don't need to be good at economics to read econ books, because most of England can read. They want to see a take on a book, an analysis or an understanding of a book that could have only come from someone who is interested in the book or is studying economics, you know? Don't just list it, but really intertwine it, show what you learned from it, or show how it relates to your course, to your topic. For example, I was interested in this, so I read up about this, and this showed me about this, and it caused me to realize this. However, I was not convinced, or I doubted whether, you don't have to doubt, but it's nice to have your own take on things and for your interest to lead your book reading process. Or if you've written an essay, you don't have to have won anything, but you can say, having read or written an essay on this, I realized that this, and a way to fix this in the global whatever, I don't know, but be engaged with your own PS story. Let your reading reflect your passion and reflect your ideas, and show that you're actually very engaged with what you're reading and writing. Don't just list, but just show how you got to reading that book, what you learned from the book, and how it applies or relates to other things you've read. Number 6. And this is kind of like one of the final ones. Read examples of other personal statements for inspiration, while still remaining your true authentic self. So do get inspiration from other people's structures, things they've included perhaps, or books they've read maybe, but do not feel the need to be like them exactly. Because I remember reading a personal statement that I think was a successful E&M applicant, and they had so much work experience and they were very into investing and finance and all that, and I just did not have that, and I wasn't that. And I thought, wait, am I not a good fit for the course? But realistically, you can be a completely different kind of applicant. You can have completely different interests, and that's okay. Since for all of you who have come this far to my video, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, because I'm just hoping it's useful for people, you know, that's the ultimate aim of this channel, basically. So thank you guys for watching this far. I have a super peer account, which is basically a service where you can speak with people and get advice and insight, basically. So ordinarily I offer 30-minute personal statement sessions for £15, but if you've watched this far into the video, I have a very special discount code that will last, I think, yeah, up till last day in October. The discount code is YouTube special. I'll put the thing on the screen somewhere. So if you go down into the description box and click on my super peer account, you can get £5 off a lesson. So it's only £10 for a 30-minute consultation. And we'll basically go through your personal statement, things to tweak, things to improve, tips, and just help basically. and you can read through my own personal statement as well. But anyway, moving into the final point, and that is just generally get others to proofread your work. It's necessary, because often we know exactly what we're trying to convey, and we've been researching and writing drafts and drafts and drafts to the extent whereby we are numb to all the flaws in our personal statement, with all the difficulties in expression that we might actually have in our personal statement. So get other people to check over your work to make sure you're not waffling. The tutors can tell when you're waffling and it's not attractive because it's a waste of your lines, basically. To make sure that your expression is clear and to make sure that everything flows very well and that your structure is actually there, because it's very easy to identify that when you're reading things for the first time, whether things roll off the tongue and read very well or if they don't. And also, of course, spelling checks, grammar checks, all that basic jazz. Even if you can't spell that well, people around you probably can. Teachers perhaps, spell checking websites. So there's not really an excuse to spell stuff wrong. But yeah, that is it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and hopefully see you guys in the next one, which will be about the Oxford interview. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section, or if it's a bit longer or you'd like to be tutored, email me on my other YouTube page, which you can find in the about section of this channel. But yeah, that is it for today. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you another time. Bye. Good luck with your personal statements.